we can talk about, are you a freshman at Wartburg?
Yes, yeah, I'm a freshman.
Okay, so first we'll probably talk a little bit about how this year has been for you, how it's been to adjust from being a senior in high school and then coming to college during a pandemic. But then I'm also curious to learn about that mental health group that you guys are a part of. And
Okay, sounds good.
okay, so I guess if you could just tell me a little bit about how the year has been, like as a freshman, what's been good and what bad in the
So
pandemic.
yeah, this year's kind of obviously different. For freshmen though, it's kind of good because we have nothing to compare to. Like we're coming in to school already when it's like already this weird, but it's like we don't know what normal is. So this is kind of our normal now,
Hmm.
which is nice. But some of the good things have been so I'm in sports and activities obviously, but I wasn't just thrown into school. Like usually everything starts all in one day. It's like we have sports, everything starts just that first week, and this was kind of with COVID, it was like easing into it and we didn't start things for a while. And I think there's a lot more time to kind of adjust this year compared to other years. Like with school, adjusting to just college in general, there was a lot of time to kind of figure things out, which was nice. Some of the bad things are it's kind of harder to learn with distance learning. And it's like some teachers don't live in Iowa, so it's like they can't just meet you and help you. So, yeah,
I say,
if that answers your question.
well, do you feel any more stress, like, or more so than you did when you were a senior between sports and like all your classes and assignments and whatnot?
Yeah, no, this year I definitely feel more stressed. I've always been busy in high school, though. I was in like over 20 activities, so I'm kind of used to the busy lifestyle. But I think in college, it's just obviously a level up, so it just adds on to that stress that was already there. And then, of course, COVID on top of it. You have to worry about staying safe while even going to class. So,
Do most of your classes occur on Zoom, or you do like a fair portion of them in
so a
person?
lot of them are hybrid. So it'll be like half the class is in person and half is on Zoom, and then we'll switch.
Hmm.
So I think I had 2 in-person classes this week out of like 6, I believe. So it just kind of depends on the week, because like some weeks I'll be be in person almost all week, and then others I'm online. So
Which
it's a
one do you
good mix.
which one do you prefer, in person or online?
I prefer in person more, just because it's easier to learn that way. And then when you actually have questions, you can like ask the teacher. You don't have to like open the chat box in
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, I also think Zoom is way more distracting than being in person because you could like,
Yes, because you can do so much other things when you're in your room.
oh,
So.
exactly. So how did you become part of that mental health group? Is that like through your major?
Okay, so I am not really a part of the mental health group. I'm
Ah,
on I'm on the public health team with Skylar, and we promoted the mental health day, but we didn't like organize it. That was our student senate. They worked with so it's like our student government group worked with the dean on that, because 14 weeks with no break is a lot. So thankfully they got those 4 days, but the 4 days were kind of hard because all the teachers still assigned homework, so it wasn't much of a break.
let's say like what goes on during those mental health days? Is that like a choice for the students to do what they want, or like is
Yeah, we can do whatever. Me and my friends went axe throwing, so that was fun. Some students just like kind of went home, which was fine, just a break, kind of get away from campus.
interesting? Have you personally struggled with mental health at all throughout this year? That's like kind of a common theme that's come up with a lot of people that I talk to.
Yeah, thankfully I have not. I'm a very social person. So even with COVID, I found ways to kind of connect with people, just because I struggle with being isolated.
Hmm.
So quarantine was rough when I can only talk to 6 people a day, but it's okay.
What's your living situation like on campus? I'm assuming you have roommates as a freshman. Is it a dorm?
Yes. I'm in a dorm style room. There's just 2 of us. So we're allowed to have 1 person in our room extra. So we can only have 4 with COVID. Um, Parents aren't allowed in the dorms, like extra people from outside of campus. And then, yeah, the 4 people is really just kind of the rule. Like if you obviously there's stopping parties and stuff, but you're only allowed to have 1 extra person. So if you have a 6-person room, you can have like up to 12 or whatever. But yes, just depends on how big the room is.
Do you ever get tired of being around the same people and then have to get out and go to?
Yes, I do, especially because with it being online, it's like also hard when you have a roommate because they're also in a Zoom like right behind you. So then you're like, when you have to talk, there's just two people talking in the same room, but you can't really go anywhere else. So yeah.
What have you done for fun around campus or outside of campus, or I mean, like how have you stayed active and busy besides sports and classes and all that?
Yeah. So a lot of the clubs I'm in try to like put on events like as much as they can outside. So we'll like go on a walk just as a major, obviously with masks, but it'll be like outside. So it's just something that like gets you out of the dorm. And in the fall, we like would carve pumpkins and just kind of obviously distance out. And we've had like picnics, so that was nice.
Do you think which semester has been more stressful? Like you said, you've been able to ease in to college life over time. Was it harder to adjust, obviously, in the fall, or do you find the winter, I mean, the spring like semester a little bit more hard to adjust to?
I think this semester I'm kind of more overwhelmed because a lot of stuff is starting to happen now.
Hmm.
Like last semester, a lot of my stuff was on Zoom, but now as people are getting vaccinated, I'm vaccinated personally, so I'm able to do more stuff. And we're just figuring out more ways to do stuff in person while also staying safe. Like first semester, no one had any idea, but now we're getting a lot to in person. So I'm a little bit more overwhelmed than I was last semester.
How do you cope with that? Like what techniques do you have to like reduce that stress?
Uh,
You meditate,
honestly,
journal.
yeah, I don't know. I try. It doesn't work very well. Just staying up. Since I'm on the computer all day, I'll try to take at least an hour a day to get off of it and
Yeah.
like go on a walk with my friends or do at least something that's not having a screen in front of me because with Zoom and everything with COVID, everything's online. So you're looking at the computer or your phone at least majority of the day.
How how have you made friends? Is it the majority of the people you met like who you live with, or have you met people in classes, sports, like kind of all over the board?
Yeah, it's kind of all over. Since I am kind of a lot more extroverted and social, the first week of school, I just kind of knocked on people's doors and like asked to be to go to lunch or just and that kind of stuff. So I kind of became friends with people that way, and then obviously through classes that helps a lot. If we just like if there was other freshmen in our classes, we'd just see if anyone wanted to work on homework, and then a group of us started working on homework, and we'd become friends that way. So. But I do know it's been a struggle because we didn't really meet anybody first semester. Like our orientation, we met like our group, but we didn't have any big like social events happening. So it was kind of difficult to make friends at first because you can't really see anyone with COVID. It's all online.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about you freshmen, and that's actually where I got the idea for the story is like when you come into college, usually when there's not a pandemic, that's what freshmen do. They go to like the first week events and they go to the event, they meet new people, they're asked to get outside of their comfort zone. Like Iowa State has Destination Iowa State. I know Simpson does a few things like that, and I'm assuming Wartburg does too. And you can't really do that last year because you're not supposed to be around people, or it was altered. It wasn't the same experience
Yeah.
freshmen normally get.
Yeah. We had like a career fair, but it was online. So it's like a lot of the people didn't go to all this stuff because online didn't really have the same effect. And since everything is already online, like one more thing online was not what the students were looking for.
Yeah. Do you feel like in it, like, are you happy with your freshman year, or do you like some people I've talked to feel like their experience is compromised and they were like not sure if they would want to come back if you say next fall we're still going to be wearing masks and we're still going to be socially distanced and it's still going to be the same vibe because like I'm assuming you've probably had your ups and downs throughout the year, but it's still not, you probably aren't as connected with people as you'd like to be.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is how I feel.
Yeah. Personally, I really like Wartburg, so I will be going back next fall. I'm a journalism and communications major, and our advisor has made it. She's like done everything in her power she can to like make sure we still have a normal freshman year, like as much as we can. So she's actually helped a lot with like connecting with friends and that kind of stuff.
What do you want to do with journalism and communication? Do you have, like, maybe not necessarily a dream job, but do you have something that you want to do when you graduate?
I want to work with public relations. So on campus right now, I'm a social media and event planner for 2 different clubs, and then I also write for our newspaper that's on campus.
Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah.
You're pretty involved for a freshman. Like, usually.
Yes, I am. Yeah, our major, the JCO major is like, I feel like it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the clubs kind of interconnect, and it's all of the same kids. So it's like once you get in one, you kind of do everything in it. So which helps. Yeah.
Well, I'm just surprised because, like, usually people don't figure out what they want to do until, like, their sophomore year or maybe even junior year. And then sometimes they even change up their major, but you have your major all lined out in your first year.
Yeah. I grew up in 4-H, and I kind of fell in love with, like, public speaking and not falling, but falling in love with public speaking and, like, talking with people. So that kind of sparked that interest. And then once I got, like, into the major and started getting with all those clubs, it just solidified what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Where are you from originally in Iowa?
Carlisle. It's like 15 minutes from Des Moines.
Yeah. I went to Indianola, so, like, I'm a town.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I know a good amount of Carlisle people.
That's good. Yes.
What
Very close.
What made you choose Wartburg coming from Carlisle?
So, obviously a few people from Carlisle have gone there, but I've heard good things about their journalism and communications department once again. And as soon as I met with the advisor, I kind of knew that was where I wanted to go. Penny Pure is the advisor. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's does a lot within the department and stuff. But yeah, so that was kind of solidified that. And then I'm on the cheer team there, but that's not the main reason I went. I went because the teachers there actually care about your education. And it's like, if you miss school, if you miss like a day, like they'll message you and be like, hey, are you okay? Like they actually care about you outside of class. So
yeah, I think that's one of the bigger benefits of going to like a private is it a private college, Wartburg?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, yes.
Where'd you go?
I go to Simpson.
Oh yes, perfect. Yeah. Yep.
So,
very similar.
And I tried Iowa State for a little bit. I actually took a year and a half away from Simpson, and then I went up to Iowa State, and I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And then I came back.
Crazy.
When you're up there, you're just another number. Like there are so many students. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have friends that go to Iowa State, and I haven't had an in-person class this whole year, which is crazy.
Dude, that's not good. That's not good for yourself.
No, it can't be. At least like Wartburg, they've done good with like kind of mixing it, but that's the teacher's choice. That's not the school's. Right. So it's like if the teacher feels comfortable going in person, they can be in person, and then if they don't, they'll stay home. So it's kind of like whatever they choose. But thankfully, I've been in person for the most part.
Yeah, I was happy that Simpson kind of made the same decision too, and we've been able to do blended, and it's mostly been in person. Like the only time we go on Zoom is just if there's like a conflict with their schedule or they can't make it to campus. So like there's been a few times where they switched it over, but for the most part we've been in person. So I feel like that's what at least makes it a little bit more worth it to stick it out, because I graduate in May, so I was like, well, yeah, this sucks, but I gotta finish, you know.
Yes, no, I totally get that. Yeah, good thing. Yeah, like for you guys, you know what normal college is like. Like I have no idea, like what I'm actually missing, which is kind of nice because then it like doesn't make me feel sad that I'm missing anything because I'm like, oh, this is what it's like. Like,
I think though, I mean, because like where things are going right now, and people are getting vaccinated, and they're saying like if you're vaccinated, you don't necessarily have to wear a mask around people. I think we're gonna get very close to what we had before, hopefully. So maybe then next year, you know, loosening up those restrictions, you'll get like a real sense or a feel for what college was like pre-COVID.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Thankfully, well, Wartburg's probably not going to change their mask policy until everyone has it, which makes sense. Like, totally get that. But thankfully, more and more students, probably everywhere, are getting the vaccination.
Yeah. I mean, just to end the interview here, I guess, is there then any optimism for you for next year? Like, what do you expect for next year? Or did you just tell yourself that you're never going to have expectations again because they can easily be ruined?
Yeah, I kind of stopped having expectations last spring. Um, so when I was on a mission trip during spring break and we got sent home like 2 days in, and they woke us up at like 4 a.m. and they're like, yeah, we gotta go. That was kind of rough. But like school was canceled, prom was canceled, graduation, everything was like canceled in the same week.
Mhm.
And that kind of, yeah, that sucked. But I was like, I just kind of stopped. Like everything's been taken away, I feel like, from everybody. So I don't know. I didn't have much expectations going into college because I'm like, well, can't get worse than this.
Yeah.
So it can only go up from here. I was like, nothing can be worse than that. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Did I answer your questions? I hope I helped.
Well, just, yeah, I mean, so then do you have like a different mentality approaching your sophomore year? Or like you said, I mean, it can only go up. Like if people
Yeah.
are continuing to get vaccinated and whatnot, you would think that hopefully we can start loosening up the restrictions that are in place.
Yes, I really hope that does happen. I do. Since obviously your football season was taken away too, with being a cheerleader, that was kind of our whole fall. Like everything was taken away with that. It's in the spring, but it's not like the same. We don't have homecoming and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping sophomore year we do get some more involvement because there is so many activities on campus that have been canceled. Like, and they're not just like student activities, like parents come, alumni come, all that stuff. So just kind of more community events and like events in general happening hopefully next year.
I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, I'll be graduated by that point, but it would still be nice to finally go back to like a festival or concert. I've been
Yes.
get that.
Yep. I totally get that. Are you a journalism major?
Sports communication. So
Okay.
it is a
Similar.
I mean, it is journalism because I've taken journalism courses. I'm in our practicum right now, working for the Simp, which is their newspaper. I've kind of taken it a little bit of a different route. So my first year at Simpson, I did a lot of sports stories, considering that my major is sports communication. But now I like doing. I did a music review for the newspaper not long ago, and I actually really enjoyed that. So I've been trying to do like things that push me outside of my comfort zone, or things that I didn't do my first year here. Just because I've kind of gotten a little dried out with the whole sports thing. Like it gets so tiring to write sports stories all the time. Like they're so predictable.
Yeah. Right now I'm just writing. I write whatever they tell me to. It's like whatever story's not taken is what I get. So they're kind of boring sometimes. I don't know. But I'm not really looking to go into journalism, so I'm not like that worried about it right now. But.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll do once I graduate. Like I ended up starting my own podcast, and I post stuff on YouTube. So hopefully that's what I could do, but it'd be nice to at least have that security of graduating. And if I have to do something before any of that were to pop off, then then I could make a living in another area.
Yes, and it's hard for you guys because it's like jobs aren't really hiring right now.
That's what's scary.
So it's a hard one.
That's what's scary about graduating. Like, who knows if I'll get a job in the near future. Thank God I have one that I could rely on for a little bit. It pays pretty well.
That's good.
During college, but I don't want to stay there forever. It's definitely
I get that.
Career-driven job where you can work up in the company.
I get that. I have an internship this summer. Thankfully, they were hiring. So.
Where's your internship?
I'm gonna be the volunteer intern for the Blue Ribbon Foundation at the State Fair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a nonprofit. They like run all the events happening at the State Fair, and they like the money all goes towards that, obviously, and not building, but like infrastructure. I don't know, like redoing the buildings there and like keeping everything up to date. So yeah.
So what would be your duties like for the?
So since I'm in charge of the volunteers, every day at the State Fair there's about 500 volunteers, and so I'll like organize that, and we have events throughout the summer, kind of like fundraising, so I'll be in charge of those volunteers too. I haven't really started yet, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening. I don't start till June, but
well, again, I would say, because I started doing my internship, you have to obviously do one before you graduate, so I waited until my last semester, but it's been kind of slow to start it, and we haven't done as much as he promised me, but like I don't know, you take it with a grain of salt. Like, I'm really just trying to appreciate everything I do each day with these last
Yes.
15 days. Like, well, just enjoy the journey because you still have a long time left, and hopefully things are going to blow over. I would hope so. I hope you're not a senior and we're still going through this.
Oh, I hope not. That would be awful.
All right, Gabby. Well, I'm going to head off because I actually have another interview to do, but thank
Okay.
you for talking to me. If I have any follow-up questions or if I go back through the interview and see that I didn't ask you something, then I'll just hit you up and maybe we'll do like
Sounds
a
good.
little video.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.